Hello and welcome to the Carbitrage podcast, episode 242. I'm Eric Berger, joined as always by my co-host Ryan Sinisky. Hello.
Hi there.
How are you?
Good.
Not hungover, I see.
Nope, 100% not hungover.
You do seem more lively.
I'm much better than I was last time.
Last time?
Yeah. Maybe not 100% better, but better. Well, Jan and I went to go see a play last night, and
So cultured.
I know I'm very cultured, but so the last time I went out to a bar was to the Saloon, which is in Minneapolis, a gay bar, because they were doing their vaccine drive there, and so I
recall that story.
I very rarely get mixed drinks at a bar, and so
I just don't point blank because I black out, but I think you handle them better than that.
yeah, I do. And so yeah, at the Saloon, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna have one drink, and it's gonna put me on my level. This is gonna be great. And
then?
Yeah, then I had a hangover after that. But this time I had a mixed drink from a not gay bar, and it was a rum and Coke, and it was just Coke with a bottle of rum that had been opened next to it and sat next to my drink.
The facility that was also processing peanuts.
Yes, exactly. They were also processing mixed drinks because I did not taste any of the rum. I watched her make it. I watched her pour the rum in. I didn't taste any of it.
So they ran out of rum the previous night, but they still had 2 ounces left in the 64-ounce bottle, so they filled the rest with water?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Well, see, this is the thing. It's when you go to the Saloon, when they pour your drink, they pour the liquor in. When they get to about a quarter of a cup, then they start putting in say you're getting rum and Coke, then they put in the Coke.
Sure.
And they continue pouring the rum as they're pouring the Coke, which is a lot of rum. It's basically a cup of rum.
Now, when you say a cup, are you talking the measurement cup or like
a pint
here
cup?
is a cup.
Like
Okay.
a pint cup.
a glass of rum.
A glass of rum, yeah. And so I'm that's what I was expecting. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be my one drink from that. And I'm like, I had to have that, and then I was able to have a glass of wine and a beer. I had
Oh, you got the whole triangle going.
I got the whole triangle of things.
I remember that growing up in middle school, they would show us the food pyramid.
Yeah,
they didn't tell us there was a booze pyramid too.
Yeah, it was a booze pyramid, and it was totally sober by the end of the night. It was just normal drinks. However, the food was delicious there. It was what's it called? The Old Log Theater or something. Yeah, they had this place called Cast and Crew, which is a restaurant next to it. It really
It's got an edgy name.
I know, right? They had really good walleye. It was it was $30 plate of walleye. It was very good.
Love me some walleye.
So yeah, it was worth the money.
Had that at my company party, and it was honestly decent. That's a Marriott. We rented out the ballroom for
Oh,
it.
really?
And yeah, it's one of those things where you get a pre-planned food choice, and it was chicken or walleye. I'm like, if they're offering walleye, it probably doesn't suck. But it's also had a Marriott.
Yeah, you don't accidentally offer walleye.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's like brisket. You don't accidentally make a brisket.
Correct.
You don't just fall over and then just
it takes some planning.
Yeah. you don't throw pork belly into this oven or something.
Oops, I slipped.
Uh-oh.
Guess we're having pork belly.
Yeah, exactly. You don't these are good meats. It's not the thing is like a steak. That's something where I don't always get because you can accidentally make a steak. It's very easy and very common to fuck up a steak.
Yes.
But it's not easy or common to do that to walleye because walleye, you have to get a special distributor to bring you the fish. That's probably local.
Well, it's not always in stock.
Yeah, it's not always in stock. If you're gonna have it, you're not gonna waste it. You're not gonna just throw it together. There's not a best walleye house. There's a best steakhouse.
You could find a 3-day-old steak in your refrigerator and be like, oh shit.
Yeah,
well,
exactly. Yeah, you're not doing that with
I don't have my cast iron, but we're gonna make it anyway.
You cannot find walleye at Aldi.
Correct.
You can find questionable steak there.
I have not bought steak at Aldi before.
I've not either. Their breakfast sausages are disgusting.
I haven't bought those either.
Not good.
Everything I buy at Aldi I really like, but I am picky about what I buy.
Yeah, I'm very picky about those things. But most things at Aldi I'm really they're Girl Scout cookies.
German though.
Yes, they're Girl Scout cookies. 10 out of 10. That's why I was assuming. I was really hyped up for German sausages. And then when I was eating them, I remembered German Chris telling me that he had sausages from Aldi. You don't like them either.
What you can do is get the 1 pound tube of just sausage in their freezer case, and then just like put a little bit of brown sugar and maple syrup into that, and
that would be
really good.
Yes.
That's usually what I do. Anyway, enough of that. Briefly touching on drinks before I cover Patreon, I just finished a Steel Toe Split Point Pilsner, which was in the back bottom level of the refrigerator for over a year.
How was it?
It was okay.
Sounds like Steel Toe.
What do you have there?
Well, I've got 2 beers. I've got a Super Deluxe Premium Lager that Scott dropped off from Modest.
Thank you once again,
and
patron
Scott.
Scott.
I've also got a Hams right
ham
here.
Sandwich.
The hams will be next episode, so now you've got an Easter egg to look out for.
Yeah, so now those of you listening to 243, which I assume will be all of you, you know what Ryan's going to be drinking next episode.
And I expect that you will forget, and I will tell you on that episode.
Perfect.
Well,
Before we dig into the stories...
Hang on.
Ooh,
still good.
Cicerone.
Still good.
And give me the tasting notes of Super Deluxe. I had that at a party last week. It's good.
It is light.
Okay.
Hoppy. Not too hoppy. It's hoppy but not bitter.
It's lightly hop, but it's hop forward.
Yeah, it's hop forward, but it's not bitter. It's really good. I like it.
It's pretty low IBU. I really
very,
like it.
Very low on malt.
And also, it's only 5% ABV. So like that's one of my favorites.
This is a great beer. Oh.
I took Stiegl Radler grapefruit and those. I took 4 of each to a party. Had them all over the course of 6 hours. Felt totally fine.
Yeah.
All right, patreon.com/Carbitrage. On this Patreon customized webpage thingamajig, you will find 2 open-ended levels of support for listeners like you to support the people that make the show like us. Patreon.com/Carbitrage. Starts at $1.50 a month.
All right. Well, now, almost 1 second. 4, 3, 2, 1. 7 minutes into the podcast, we're going to get to our first story, which...
We never digress.
No, we don't. It is Black History Month, and you know that ever since the start of Carbitrage, I've always tried, keyword.
Done a pretty good job, frankly.
Yeah, we do, and sometimes it goes into March, because...
And I will fully concede, I have done almost nothing.
Yeah, no, this is all me.
That's all.
Like, I actually, wake up early to find these things. No, it's okay. I like actually doing this
I saw
research.
you editing at 10:30. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, no, I wake up
awake.
I wake up early to, and I was, thinking about this, last night. I was, watching YouTube videos on these people, to make sure, I had, the coolest people that we've not talked about. So... For our first, or I guess second Black History Month highlight of the year.
I for sure remember doing one last year. I don't know about 2 years ago.
No, I mean this year.
Oh, yeah, one before.
Yeah, this is the second week.
It was the folks that make the school bus.
Yes. C.R. Patterson.
Yes.
This time we're going to talk about Richard Spikes, who was born in 1878. This is going to hit the pre-war bell, just so you know, so you might want to have that ready. Richard Spikes was an inventor, not specifically for cars, but he is credited with inventing the automated shifting transmission.
In what year?
That would be in 1926.
That was good.
Yeah, that was good, wasn't it?
I'm glad I stretched beforehand. I didn't throw my back.
But before that, he invented the Pierce Arrow turn signal system, which was the...
Not trafficators.
Turn signals, not trafficators. Very specific. Yeah, very cool. In 1910, you can hit that bell again. And then in 1936, he invented basically what is the modern semi-truck braking system.
Air brakes?
Not air brakes, but you know how they're designed to fail on?
Fail secure.
Yeah, fail secure brakes.
Yep.
He invented a fail secure brake design. It was not hydraulic, or it was a hydraulic, it was not pneumatic.
Okay.
So this was used on as an early safety device for trucks.
Sure.
So before we had that, but his same design has just been adapted.
It is kind of curious that brake designs aren't like that always.
I know, right? Yeah, that's what he was trying to do. There's actually a lot of car brands, small makes, in the 30s that when they were first doing hydraulic brakes, did a fail secure design.
Well, I mean, yeah, all you have to do is determine the maximum effective effort that you could put on your friction material, and then counteract that with a wheel cylinder.
Yeah, that's it. That's very, very easy. Yeah, but also he invented the beer keg before he did all this.
Wow!
Thank you, Richard.
Before
the turn of the century. Actually, he was in his 20s when he invented it.
Can I call him Dick?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Dick Spikes.
Dick Spikes.
Ooh,
maybe I'll go with Richard.
Yeah, I think Richard's a better name.
Okay.
But so Richard Spikes, this is actually really interesting. Of all these things, the thing that I think is the coolest is the automated shifting transmission.
Is it like a pre-selection or is it
Pre-Selector Gearbox?
Okay.
Yes, that he invented the Pre-Selector Gearbox, which most of the people who are listening to this podcast are not 110 years old and have no idea what the hell a Pre-Selector Gearbox is.
Unless they just watched the Gordon GMA T33 announcement, which has a pre-selection box.
No way, that's actually really cool.
As the auto option, which 3 people have bought.
All right, now I'm actually more interested in that because I just kind of wrote it off. You said automatic. Okay. Like
it's like this big.
Yeah, Pre-Selector Gearbox is pretty cool. But so what a Pre-Selector is basically it does the shifting part for you. You do the clutch part. So it actually takes you still shift it, and what it does is it cues up the next gear. So when you're going around a corner, you can press the clutch in right at the right time and keep your hands on the wheel. It's actually why it was created, so you didn't have to move your hands around and do a jig to get to the next gear. But pre-selectors actually were kind of not super popular, but popular enough with early motorsports actually because of that same reason. Where if you're driving a car that's completely unruly for handling and you have to have a giant steering wheel going like this, you don't want to go like this and then also go like this.
I know a lot of early 911s were optioned with a pre-selection box.
Yeah, that's true. So this is just a really cool thing. I had no idea that was actually invented by an African-American person. So yeah, Richard Spikes, who's actually also born in, he says that the census data says he's from Texas, though he says he was born in Indian country, in Oklahoma.
Now when you say Indian.
Like in Cherokee Nation.
Okay, Native American.
Native American.
Indigenous peoples.
Yes.
Okay.
But the term in that era was called Indian country. So when you look on a map, it would say Indian country.
I'm glad we don't live in that era anymore.
Yes. But no, he just had a super cool life. He passed away in 1965. So I mean, he was also born in 1878. So
that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's good.
With zero medical anything, he made it almost 90.
Yeah, he did a great job. Good for him.
Damn.
So
must have been using his own pre-selection gearbox to avoid spinning out in corners.
Yeah, no, he made the world a safer place. Did a bunch of he had a ton of other smaller patents that people don't really care that much about. As far as the general public that'd be listening to this podcast would be terribly concerned in. But I do have a link here which, oh cool, you have it up with his face on it. So that's what he looks like. He has a nice part in his hair. But yeah, let's see. He also had a invention for a self-locking rack for billiard cues. So when you go to a pool hall, you'd have to pay to use a pool cue.
That is, I mean, those are still, I think, in use.
Yes, it's still his design that's in use, actually. I actually double-checked that. It's the same design. A brake testing machine.
Like vehicle brakes?
They actually have the U.S. patent number, but I'm not going to put it up. It's, the brake testing machine was for testing the brakes actually on trolley cars.
Okay.
For just making sure that they will function on a hill.
Okay.
Also, he had a plantograph for conveying electrical current to trolleys' wires. He had a combination milk bottle opener and cover when they were still using glass milk bottles. This dude just made everybody's life better. He's so cool.
Going door to door. What grinds your gears?
Yeah. He also... a device that was used to obtain average samples and temperatures of tank liquids.
Okay.
So
okay.
That sounds really weird.
It does, but for homogenization and
exactly.
for brewing and things like that, it's really
all
important.
That stuff. Yeah. Again, it's still his same patent that's in use today. It's just so cool. The horizontally swinging barber's chair he invented.
What is a horizontally swinging?
Have you ever been to a barber salon to have a haircut?
I have.
You know the little twirly chair?
Mm-hmm.
He invented that.
Why is that different from a chair?
Because it twirls.
So he invented
and
the
you
spinny
can
chair?
tilt it back. Yeah, he invented the tilting spinning chair that doesn't fall over. Keyword doesn't fall over because it's very easy to design that chair and have it fall over.
Yeah, that's what the white people did.
But so actually these are really cool. His turn signal that he made for Pierce Arrow although the patent record can't be found for that, Pierce Arrow actually credited him. The company did, which is really, really cool for 1910 in the United States, that a company credited a black person with a thing.
Anything.
Unbelievable.
Let alone something
so cool.
pretty significant.
And that makes Pierce Arrow that much cooler. So
too bad they're not still around.
Yeah, it's I mean, they made the biggest production car engine ever, so very cool. But anyway,
no years were specifically mentioned there, but just know in my head the pre-war bell is ringing.
Yes, everywhere, all over that. His whole thing was all pre-war stuff. He retired in the 50s, so.
Oh, so
almost guaranteed.
He worked pretty much his whole life then.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was inventing things. Like, he wanted to do that. He was doing what he loved.
I mean, he made a combination milk bottle opener sealer.
Yeah, he made all sorts of cool
stuff. And a barber's chair. So.
And a beer the beer tap.
And the beer keg.
The beer keg tap, not the keg.
Oh.
The keg tap. Because what's actually interesting is his tap, the modern tap, also refreshes the beer.
What do you mean?
Because when it displaces that air,
yeah,
it pushes the air through the liquid inside the.
Sure.
Yeah, so that actually helps with carbonization and keeping the beer fresher.
Right, because you put the CO2 in. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, you put it in at the top, and the beer flows down.
Exactly. It's really, really just a super duper cool thing that he created. So yeah.
I've never cut one of my kegs open, but it would be kind of fascinating.
Yeah, Richard Spikes, coolest dude you've never heard of. So there you go.
That's unfortunately most of Black history.
Yes. Oh, I've got the next thing.
You do?
Okay. Moving on. Well, it finally happened.
What did?
Ever since the beginning of Carbitrage, we do our bull bear list, which we still have to do for this year, that we sometimes follow up with. Every year I've been saying that the 3000 GT VR4 is going to be that car. It's going to be the car to buy.
SLs and garbage ones explode last year.
Yeah, and you know what? A 3000 GT VR4 finally sold for 6 figures at Bonhams.
Just barely.
But it was also at Bonhams too, which is not the place to go to make big money anymore.
Right.
But yeah, it's
not even a Spider.
No, it's a 1999. It's a very final model year.
God, they made that car a long time.
Yes, they did. They made it for literally 10 years. Actually longer.
Does it have 168 miles, or is it 168,000 miles?
No, it's 168 miles. That's why it is.
That is terrifying. That car will need a complete everything out service.
You don't move this at all.
Okay.
Ever for any reason. But, 320 horsepower, 315 pound-feet of torque at that point, all-wheel drive, 6-speed manual.
I hope they pushed it outside to take these pictures, because all of the rubber on that car is gone, and all of its rubber, and you need all the rubber for it to work. Yeah.
But, I mean, it's cool. I mean, it is objectively the most original, most best 3000 GT VR4. Wow. But yeah, also it's Bonham, so I don't.
It's an old person because they bought it in 2002.
Well, this is my thing. It took Mitsubishi years to sell these cars. I remember working in 2000 when I took my first job out of high school at an automotive thing at Luther Mitsubishi. Mm-hmm. Only 2 years prior did they sell their last 3000 GT that was in inventory.
So it's like the E30 M3.
They couldn't
move them.
They could not get rid of it. Objectively, it was a hard top, very last year SL automatic. It was the one. There's a reason. Also, it was red. So by the time they sold it, all the paint had gone wrong. So there's a reason.
If you sit on dealer inventory long enough, where you start to get long-term issues with the car short-term,
yes,
that's probably not good.
But somebody bought it, so good for them. I'm sure they had a happy warranty period.
I do kind of wonder if the RSGR got brought here. I mean, they would immediately sell out.
Oh, instantly.
But it was different back in the 90s and the 80s. People didn't want or look at. They didn't aspire to a high-performance race car for the road.
No, I
just don't understand.
It's very odd. However, if you click the other link that I have here, there's another car in the same time period that also hit 6 figures, which also was previously on our list. It's in all capitals. It's a hyperlink.
It's the first link, though.
Yeah, but I said the other link.
Well, I know, but
and
I was looking.
I made it as simple as possible for you to find.
Well, should have put it chronologically at the end then, because I'm dumb.
No, last time I did something chronologically, you clicked on the second one first, then yelled at me.
Yeah, that sounds like something I would do.
I even, in the hyperlink...
Has this car been on fire, Ryan?
No, it's not, because it's an Integra.
Ah.
It's not a CRX.
Oh, okay.
A Phoenix Yellow Integra Type R, USDM with 7,000 miles.
Two-door.
Yeah. But 7,000 miles on Breen Trailer sold for $112,112, which is pretty great.
That is a lot of money.
Yes, it is. But, it's good.
I literally can say with confidence that I cannot afford an Integra.
Yeah, you can not. I love this.
I could pull up somewhere in my Ferrari and say I can't afford that Integra.
This is so vindicating for high school Ryan. Because I was the biggest Honda elitist, and I would be as the cockiest douche, and every kid with a fucking Maserati. I'd be like, yeah, screw that car. That car sucks. All it's gonna do is depreciate. This Honda is gonna be worth $100,000 one day, and I'm right. Ha!
I don't think anyone at EHS had a Type R. There were a couple GSRs, but
there were no Type Rs, no. But there were. There was a couple GSRs. There was a Celica All-Track. There were some cool cars, but. It was always the kid that inherited the Maserati Quattroporta.
Oh god, yeah.
The Cambio Corsa. He's just
oof.
Yeah. He's I got the cool car, and it's okay, buddy. No, you don't. Nobody likes you. You're a tool. But yeah, no, I'm really happy and really vindicated. All the people in my AutoTech class that were driving highboy pickups and are now doing drugs on their fucking farm.
In their trailer.
You can all eat shit. I'm right. So I just love being able to say I'm fucking right. I was right. I told you that I was right, and now I'm right. So here I am. I'm right.
I mean, I don't think I even knew that we had a U.S. import ITR until probably less than 10 years ago.
Yeah, they were imported for a couple of years.
I thought you were going to say 20 minutes.
No, they were 97, 2001. I think they were just those years. I can't remember.
Well, either way, I mean, it's definitely... It's Hondas of that era were the best front-wheel drive chassis ever. I mean, it's pretty much
objectively,
undisputed.
That's an objectively true thing. Well, I used to say, I told you, I'm every single person that talks shit about Hondas has just never driven a good one.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't like Hondas when we were in high school.
I still wouldn't buy one,
but
I appreciate them.
You didn't appreciate them at all in high
Correct.
school. And then...
Because I had my MR2.
Yes.
Later.
But then you ended up getting a EG sedan for a winter car once. You're like, ooh, this is good.
Phyllis?
Yes. You're like, this is a good car. I get the hype. I'm like, yeah, every single person. Nobody gets the hype until they drive them.
What am I hearing?
It sounds like a plow.
Oh,
There's a plow truck parked in front of the
I see.
5 Series.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, I mean, even that 4-door auto with really bad CV shafts that I bought for $500.
It's impossible for them to not be fun to drive.
Good heat. It's got pretty good steering. The engine's pretty responsive. It's comfy.
Yeah, they're good cars. Oh, and it gets 40 miles per gallon.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
D15. Mm-hmm. I don't even know, but it was Yes.
It was a D15, but that's the thing with Hondas is this Integra Type R gets 35 miles per gallon.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that's a fact. It gets 35 miles per gallon on the highway.
Strange how cars that don't weigh anything.
Yeah, I know, right?
Get good fuel economy.
And these engines making 400 horsepower in E85 still get 35 miles per gallon. It's amazing.
I do not believe anything that gets 35 miles per gallon on any sort of pump gas will ever get 35 mpg on E85 just because of its caloric energy density. It doesn't make sense.
No,
E85 has a lot less energy in it.
His engine was it's supposed to get he's supposed to get better fuel economy on not E85,
correct.
But on E85 he gets about 35.
Okay.
That's
I can see I'll concede 30.
About 35 is what he gets. That's just a fact. We've done.
And he would get 40 with regular pump gas.
We've done the math with going to Mankato and back. He gets about 35 miles per gallon on the highway.
I need to get something off Craigslist. Can we take your race car? Yeah, no problem.
Well, I mean, because there's a car show happens in Mankato that we are always recording during that I haven't gone to for the last few years.
We can postpone.
This is the thing is I find this out when I wake up for the podcast because he makes a.
So when I'm already here.
Yes, he makes a group, and then I'm like, I don't look at the group, and then I see a post in the group, and I'm like, oh, oops. And then I don't go.
I mean, that was the full story.
That was the whole story right there. And that happens every time. But no, he's made that drive several times in his Civic. To be fair, it is a GSR engine. I don't know the specifics of what's going on with it. But it is a GSR engine. He's got, probably the least reliable 35,000 miles I've ever seen anybody have. But it's also I think it's completely stock, actually. Other than the gigantic turbo on it.
B18C1's a pretty good engine.
Yeah, I think it's stock. Other than E85, a hood exit exhaust, and a gigantic turbo.
So a reliable 630.
No. I never said it's reliable.
Oh,
but I mean it's consistent. I think most of the issues just come with the fact that he did build on a budget 10 years ago. But it's been running, driving, and not blown up for 10, 13 years?
The last time I saw Chase's car, it had a supercharged
Yeah, that was a very, very, very long time ago. It's very different now.
But that was probably in high school, which was...
Yeah, very, very, very long time ago. Yeah. But no, I mean, the same car is making, I think he's in the high 10s now with it.
Jeez.
That or low 11s.
I was watching a Motor Week import tuner thing from the 90s. It
Yeah.
was hilarious. And they were
it.
bragging about these cars with the big sticky meats in the front, just breaking into the 10s. I'm like, dude, you can have a daily driven sedan with street tires in the 10s now.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at, I've actually worked on cars like that, and what they were doing was very cool in that era. I love the tech that they did.
Because they had NOS.
Well, they had no parts made for the car.
Mm-hmm.
Everything either had to be adapted or made yourself. So I've told you about pinning the block, what that is, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you would pin the block, and then you'd run nitrous, and then you would run the tires, and there's no boost by gear, no traction control. Even the tire compounds weren't that great, because really a drag radial from that era is about as good as a good all season this year, nowadays.
Compound wise, yeah.
Yeah, compound. That's as far as compound goes. So yeah, it makes sense that they weren't doing all that great. It's just really cool. They found out that a really cheap way to get rid of rear end kind of drop when you take off is you actually take 2 sets of stock springs, you cut the bottom coil off of them, and you twist them together. And what happens is the spring drops about an inch and then locks in place.
Sure.
And sends all the weight back up front. And then you have traction.
I'm picturing one of those big teeter-totters full of water slinging back and forth.
Pretty similar, actually, yeah. But they would. I've actually done that before on a car where we built a car in a barn, and it took 2 sets of stock springs, twist them together, and very noticeable difference in takeoff. It's great. It made a huge 60-foot difference.
Backyard engineering is not inherently inferior to real engineering.
You can run 10 seconds on a all-motor nitrous, Honda Integra or Acura Integra or Honda Civic, and
you're confused by the new release, aren't
you? You could do that in 1997 with just crap that you made out of Menards
Not to mention,
stuff.
To your point with the engine management standalones being quite a bit worse then than they are now, and
oh my god,
just the turbochargers too.
I again also have I once came across a car in Wisconsin that was being parted out and took the entire engine management system from it. It was all from 2002. Wow.
Oh my.
I actually ran that for a while, and boy howdy did it do some weird things. Because all you were doing at that point in time was just tricking the computers into
it was Gretty E-Manage. It was all.
It was oh my god, it was so bad.
Yep.
This was what was it called? Zdyne, I think was the name of it.
I've never even heard of it.
It was Australian. They were actually really popular for a while.
Oh my.
But they switched. They moved away from Hondas, and I think they're working on Paraguas or some weird
Pacific Rim car.
Yeah, Pacific Rim car now. But they
Wow.
yeah. But anyway, Acura Integra now $100,000 car.
Perfect. All right. no longer a bridge collapsing topic, but the infrastructure meeting that Biden was on his way to when the bridge collapsed 2 weeks ago got done. And
did it work?
Good news for EV people, and this got passed in a bipartisan effort, which is, I couldn't believe that when I saw it, but confirmed it on multiple news sources.
That's amazing.
There's a $5 billion 5-year infrastructure deal with federal funding to put a high-speed CCS charger or charge station every 50 miles on interstates in the U.S., with an additional, and I had to find this out later, $2.5 billion of discretionary grant funds for cities and municipalities to apply for EV charging. So
that's super cool.
This is huge. I mean, this is not as significant, obviously, as like the Interstate Act in the 50s, but it's pretty significant.
This is the Interstate Act in the 50s for EVs.
Oh, yeah.
Because actually Marketplace is talking about this, and they're talking about how, similar to how Americans buy trucks, you very rarely go on a road trip. But it's a range anxiety for a road trip that stops people from buying an EV. And this is fixing that.
Yep.
And now we have to find a word to get silica for processors and components and computers.
Silicon,
sorry.
I was going to say, what are we making out of glass? I mean,
yeah, silicon. You have to figure out how. Now you have to get the actual stuff to make the car, which is.
And the charger.
Yes, and the charger.
There's a processor in each one of those, too.
So, okay, cool. But, what are we doing here?
The raw silicon isn't actually the thing holding it back. It's largely the interposers. So, to what you said, silica.
Yeah.
A lot of that is made out of fiberglass, which has silica in it. So
that's what I was originally
there's a lot. There's a lot of stuff that we are going to be dealing with shortages and just ripples on for the next years.
This is kind of what happens in America every 100 years. It seems like every 100 or so years, we have a crisis. We have to completely reinvent the whole country because we don't look at what's happening else in the world and say, hey, this is going to happen too.
Yes, we're in a global weird situation with pandemic and really social media is a huge issue too. I'm sure you guys aren't finding us on social media, but coronavirus was the biggest deal in the fact that it shut down different industries for different amounts of time in different parts of the year, and just nothing can get its shit together and actually get back to equilibrium, and won't be for the next several years. But that's a huge digression, I guess, from the EV charging bill. And to come back to what you were talking about earlier, yes, it's the 1% of the time case that you have to actually build infrastructure for these people with electric pickup trucks or people doing road trips.
So, speaking of social media, and speaking of processors and computery bits.
I mean, it's a good segue. I'll take it.
NVIDIA is actually worth more than Facebook now.
Good.
Meta.
Although, I have mixed feelings on NVIDIA too, but...
but still, fuck Meta. They can eat shit. Also,
they have had a huge drop-off in the number of active users recently, haven't they?
Yes, that's why their market cap has fallen so much.
Good, maybe I should do that too.
What? Not use
Stop using Facebook?
I've been thinking about it.
But also they own Instagram. So
I know.
I'd like one of the two.
Yeah. I really would like Congress to bust up this giant trust.
It'd be nice.
It'd be really good. So I could just not give them my money. And also, I'm kind of okay with a bunch of socialists cutting off Mark Zuckerberg's head. So I wouldn't be mad about that.
I've just been watching a lot of Peaky Blinders, so I'm getting a lot of the cutting off of the heads and the socialism. Yeah, okay. Good Lord. But I'm excited. I mean, these will be very likely CCS stations. My car currently doesn't support that, but there are aftermarket adapters that work for it. The main thing is my next EV won't be a Tesla. And right now, the Tesla charging network is so much better. Not just because of how much more frequently they're placed, but because you can count on them to always work. And the biggest thing with current CCS charging, really sporadic, all different companies. You can't confirm they're operational. And usually it's 2 to 4.
It's not standardized.
10.
It's not standardized.
This will fix a lot of that, and it's hugely important for the people that do elect to go with a plug-in hybrid or a full electric vehicle in the next 10, 15 years. So,
yeah,
it's a big thing.
I'm not going to lie. That was actually my big thing, was with not getting an EV this time for my daily when I got the V out, was charging. That was my big thing. And also just it's totally unregulated. That was my biggest issue with it. Because, like, I don't want to be, like, stuck in the middle of, like, bumfuck nowhere and be stuck with a very shitty CCS charger and then, like, fuck up my battery, you know?
Oh, it just won't work.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, or, like, have it, like, not charge it correctly or have it, like, cause another electrical problem or have some sort of weird thing happen because it isn't standardized.
That's
like,
pretty much not possible, luckily, because the heads are standardized.
Well, I mean, as far as, like, the actual company that made the charger, I don't know. Sure. On their end, there isn't a consistent... What the fuck was that?
It was me hitting the railing with my leg. Keep in mind, the charger's in the car.
Yeah, but, well, I mean, as far as, like, the charger side that, like, you don't control...
Sure.
Having it not be standardized, like, that was just a legitimate worry of mine, where it's just, like, okay, the plug itself is standardized, but what about the wiring, all the crap on the other side of the plug?
All that's fine.
Yeah.
But being able to use it... Everyone's got their own membership cards. Everyone's got different rates. All that stuff. They could be offline.
It's totally ridiculous.
If you break the little plastic tab, car won't let you charge. And some truck bros know that, so they go breaking them off, which is pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I hope those people die.
Yeah, that's great.
Anyway, no, this is great news. I'm looking forward to hopefully getting maybe an Ioniq 5 or something like that. Something cool. I'm not going to get that, but I'm going to keep my Tesla for quite a while.
Did you hear about the Kia recall that they had, the Hyundai Kia recall?
On the EV6?
No, on all their cars, like all of their cars.
Oh.
With the exploding seatbelts that are like basically frag grenades.
No, I've had Takatas in my BMWs. I'm sure it's fine.
It's just like that, but happens more consistently.
Cool. I heard that they were in the top of the J.D. Power reliability for last year, which is why I know J.D. Power is a joke.
Yeah, J.D. Power is full of it.
Because those are not reliable cars.
No, they're not. They're terrible. Another reason why I don't have
sure does
EV
look
yet.
cool, though.
Like, I would like to have a Honda Urban or a Fiat 500.
Can you imagine if the new 500 came here?
Yeah, I could imagine because it'd be in my driveway. Like,
probably
that's where
me
it'd
too.
be. Yeah, like I would actually buy it new.
My only gripe about that car is I love the C. Like, I would voluntarily buy one with the retractable convertible top, but they're all that way, and you lose the actual hatch. So you just get, like, the little boot flap that opens.
Ooh, that's why it didn't come to America.
I like to put engines in my car.
That's literally why it didn't come to America.
So maybe if they make just a regular hatch version and they bring it here.
What if they made a 500L electric? Done.
That'd be pretty cool.
I'd be kind of into that. I like 500Ls.
Or maybe bring the Panda.
Yeah, or just
don't even bother with the L.
Ooh, speaking of Fiats, this is actually going to be a segue into my whole topic.
I accept.
I was talking about German Craigslist and how great it is.
Yes.
I found a Fiat Punto convertible that was, like, for sale in Japan, actually. I guess it's not German, so this has nothing to do with Germany. But this is just in Japan.
Foreign auction car.
Yeah, it was a foreign auction
website-y dealy
But anyway,
things.
I found a Fiat Punto convertible in yellow.
Okay.
For $7,000 imported.
I did not know they made those in convertible.
Yeah, but you can import it, like, literally right now.
Does that $7,000 include the import
Including everything to get it to America, and it was a grade 4 at auction, which, like...
That's impressive.
Yeah, 4.5 is basically the best you can get for a car that's 25 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. And, like,
I don't know if I want that, but it's really cool.
It was kind of great. Like, I'm a big fan of that. Like,
just gotta get a Twingo.
It's not like well, that's the thing. Like, I really want a Twingo, but I'm like, ooh, that's... It looks like Gudetama.
But
like,
everyone's gonna have a Twingo, and nobody's gonna have a Punto convertible.
Precisely.
Especially bright yellow.
Yeah.
Oh my
but
God.
Twingos are also gonna be worth more.
They
Guaranteed.
are, because every time you see
it's
something in mainstream, well, that's probably why. Every time you see something in mainstream media about 25-year rule, they've got a picture of
a Twingo. Yeah, I know.
It's because everyone wants
German Craigslist is the way to do it. I'm not saying the name of the website because I don't want to blow it up, but I call it German Craigslist. But yeah, German Craigslist is like the spot to go to for
sure. It's like
getting
French
Twingos.
Craigslist being Le Bon Coin.
Well, the quote unquote German Craigslist, because it's very difficult to junk cars in Germany.
Yes.
And it's also difficult to pass TÜV.
Mm-hmm.
You can usually...
If they're still road regged or have been in the last year, you know they're good.
Even that, you get cars that don't pass TÜV, and they'll disclose why it hasn't passed TÜV to try and sell it. And like, hey, it needs sway bar links. $800. It's great otherwise. It just needs sway bar links.
Meanwhile, the F-150 driving next to you has no bushings left in the rear axle.
Exactly, and I'm like, I will absolutely take this Twingo that needs sway bar bushings. This sounds great. Like
the progression is you import your car from Germany to the U.S., you drive it for 25 years, fix nothing. You try to junk it, but somebody exports it to Radom in Poland and keeps driving it.
Exactly. And then somehow that person from Poland drives into Germany and it breaks down, and it's all just a big circle. But anyway, so this segues into my next story, which is about Tokyo Auto Salon.
Okay.
They'll actually, every year of Carbitrage, we've mentioned how great Dihatu's display always is.
They're always so happy.
And so this year, they actually don't have a bunch of wild, different concepts that came out because of a very important thing.
Okay.
They just released the 10th generation of the Hijet.
Oh my god.
And they got every generation of the Hijet there. And they released these amazing, adorable videos, which are at the bottom of the story that I linked from Japanese Nostalgia Car, about the history of the Hijet. It's so stinking cute.
Oh,
look how great that is. It's amazing. It's so great. I love it. It's the entire history of the Hijet. It's just so fun. Like, there's nothing to not love about the history of the Hijet.
So what was the first year of the Hijet?
1960 right there.
Oh, okay.
I just said.
Well, yeah, but I don't know how to read symbol-based languages.
Well, it said 1960.
That's a 9? Looks like an O with a straight line under it.
Which is what a 9 is.
No, because the little lines on the right side of the
yeah,
circle.
but it's okay. It's a little weird. It's just a
that looks like a stick figure's
neck
and head.
Look how cute these are.
Oh, it looks like a Subaru 360.
Well, that's how cute they all were. Because in Japan, by law, it had to be adorable in the 60s. Like, it's just a fact.
I went and pulled the law books.
Yeah,
it's true.
It's literally
it translates.
A lot.
Your car must be 659 cc or less, 2-cylinder or less. No more than 30 horsepower.
Yes.
Must be adorable. And it has to have 2 doors or more. Wait, what was that last thing? 2 doors or more. No, before that. Has to be adorable.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, who's rating that? Like the entire Japanese public? Why?
No, we decided collectively that it has to be adorable.
It needs to be adorable.
Oh, look at that paint job. Look how great that is. There's little eyebrows.
Little four-wheel drive 80s surfer Hijet.
They're so great. I just love it. And so I'm just so happy that the Hijet, also a vehicle that perennially is forever like as cheap as you can possibly get out of Japan.
I do like that the Hijet hasn't been the same type of vehicle the entire time.
No,
either.
They changed it.
Like it was a little hatchback, then it turned into a Daihatsu midget almost.
Yeah.
Then it turned into a minivan.
Well, they still make the minivan.
Oh, okay.
So the Hijet minivan, they make a Hijet van. Okay. They make a Hijet deck van, and they make a Daihatsu Hijet truck, which is what you see.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they also make a luxury one called the Atrai, which has like cloth seats, 2 visors, a passenger heater vent, luxuries.
But that is luxury.
Yeah. Like a stereophonic stereo that isn't monophonic.
Thank you. I wasn't sure what the alternative was to stereophonic.
To be fair, like I actually had to write that at work. I had to write monophonic radio, and the editor said a AM/FM stereo. I said nope. 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 If you have to go back, the speaker is actually built into. I know it looks weird, but there's a speaker directly below the cassette deck.
Sometimes
it's
monophonic. In the deck, sometimes it's in the dash.
No, it's one unit because it's Daihatsu. They're not gonna make 2 dashboards. They're make 1 dashboard and they'll have a block-off plate. But what it was is their base model Hijet stereo was on the right side you had your little LCD display for your like AM/FM tuner.
Also, D and LCD stands for display, so you don't have to say.
Oh, you have your little LCD.
Thank you.
And I guess right.
Since we're arguing semantics anyway,
liquid crystal display, yeah. But yeah, on the right side you had the little LCD, and then you had the little preset buttons. And then if you got like the slightly higher trim level, it'd come with a cassette player. So you have a little cassette insert, and then directly below that would be a little tweeter for your 1 speaker, for your monophonic stereo. Oh, yeah. And it would fit in the same slot as a single den stereo.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, it was really cool. Because now that I think about that, think of how many like early MR2s they had 2 speaker stereos.
Mm-hmm.
And so you actually modern, like, aftermarket stereos, you have to do some like fuckery with the wiring to actually make it not destroy the speakers or destroy itself. So this would be something to be kind of useful for like older cars. Very brilliant. Thank you, Daihatsu.
I was gonna say no problem if you have to replace the head unit because there won't be any speakers to connect it to.
There won't be. You plug it right in. Done.
Well, that's kind of smart. I mean, if you're working with like a double DIN space and you have, to your point, one dashboard for all your trim lines, why not just take the bottom half of that radio, embed the speaker? Like, it's plenty, I'm sure.
I'm sure it works fine, and they did it for like the majority of the life of the Hijet. So very cool.
Cheap
I love
and
Daihatsu.
cheerful.
I love Daihatsu so much, and every year they crush it. So
I mean,
once again, not failed.
That's adorable, but I also kind of miss the concept-y, like...
Don't worry, they'll be right back to that.
Okay. Fancy
And
colors.
Who knows? They might they might come out with something later on, like this year, for one of the other big shows. So
I hope so. At very least next year. I mean, we got a lot of that with, what was it, Citroen with their...
Oh, yes.
The ME?
Yes, it's true.
Okay. All right, back to serious topics.
Right, serious.
The NE, which that's gonna be hard to get used to saying. So
Knee.
the post ND
Knee.
Miata, the
knee.
Miata that says knee.
The Miata says knee.
Perfect. All right, so we've solved it. There it is. So the next gen Miata, which there will be no Fiata built on, I'm sure, which is really lame, is going to have at least an optional electrified plug-in mild hybrid system, which I clicked on this only because A, Miata, and B, electric convertible. Like, I'm really into that whole concept. However, the more I read about this, the more I'm disheartened. So what this essentially amounts to is going to be a regular combustion engine, rear-wheel drive, front-engined powertrain.
Okay.
Between the engine and the thing I'll get to later, there is a 35 horsepower electric motor, kind of like the IMA and the first-gen Insight.
Yeah.
In each front hub, there will be a 22 horsepower motor, which is interesting.
So all-wheel drive?
Yep.
Weird.
So through-the-road hybrid in that sense. But yeah, all-wheel drive Miata is going to be a little strange.
I may be here for it, but weird.
If you're going to do all-wheel drive like that, like hub motors just to get you unstuck is the way to do it. So
sounds kind of cool.
I'm kind of okay with that. 3.5 kilowatt-hour battery, so we're not talking about much range here, but that could still potentially get you 10 or 15 miles of all-electric, which is kind of cool. Might be enough for a river road or to get you one way to work.
Even what that will get you is away from stoplights.
Correct, and it does add 70 horsepower.
Yeah, that's a
to the
noticeable
powertrain,
difference.
All down low.
That and like that's going to be a real world increase in fuel economy. So
correct.
Yeah,
and I really hope that we never got this with the ND, but Europe got the 1.5, which pretty much every journalist liked more than the 2-liter engine, even though it was significantly less powerful because it was so revvy. And it just kind of made it hark back to
that's what the Miata is supposed to be, yeah.
Exactly. So, I mean, this will have a big, heavy electrified system, so I'm not sure if the 1.5 is going to be as good a fit there. I'm sure they'll run the bigger engine.
I'm horrified about how much this is going to weigh.
Oh, I haven't gotten to the heavy stuff yet. This also indicates nothing about a manual. So, either an automated, single-clutch automatic, or a torque converter auto.
Take the torque converter auto.
I would too over that other option, but like if that's your only option in a Miata,
I'm done.
Yeah, I'm not interested in the Miata business.
I'm totally uninterested in the knee. That sounds awful.
So, I mean, I clicked on this with such high hopes, and then it was I actually read it for once, which is I regret doing that.
If I see, I usually do not consider a car lightweight if it's above 2,400 pounds.
Okay.
I will give EVs 3,000 pounds to be considered lightweight. If this is under 3,000 pounds, I'll be interested.
It will be. A 3.5 kilowatt-hour battery is only about 100 pounds now.
There's a lot of hefty shit happening here.
There is.
And you still have to account for safety equipment. Mm-hmm. You still have to account for actually added safety equipment because the added weight of the drivetrain. You have to account for all the other crap.
Sticker, everything.
Yeah, there's a lot of other weird crap that has to happen with this, just like the chassis and stuff to like account for that.
Maybe we'll get a manual one with none of that electric shit.
If I could get it, even electric, it just needs to be under 3,000 pounds. That's my thing. It's 3,000 pounds.
I bet it will be.
Also, I kind of like hate Miatas, so I guess I'm okay with this.
It's like 600 pounds more than the current like touring trim ND, so I think it'll come in under that. But what if they made 124 Quadra Formaggio?
Yeah, I'd be okay with that. My thing is, all right, so with Miatas, and the thing about them is, people try to treat them like collector cars, and thank God they made entirely too many of them to actually like suppress the price into oblivion, because they're not supposed to be collector cars. They're supposed to be cheap, fun cars. Mm-hmm. And like,
yeah, I never cringe when I see an NA being driven in the snow.
No, like I'm happy for that person.
They're having a good time.
Yeah, but like, yeah, it's just the reason I ended up never buying one was that people always are trying to treat them like they were a collector car, and they're not supposed to be treated that way. They're supposed to be driven like hard, and they're like neat. Like Mazda has their whole like restoration program because people love them. I get that, but like, just because your Miata is restored doesn't mean you should treat it like a collector car. It's not. It's just not. It's literally not. It's the best-selling roadster of all time. It's anything but a collector car. Mm-hmm. It's just a very fun, good car.
Very nearly a belly button.
Yeah, it's very near. It pretty much is a belly button of a car. Like it's the small block Chevy of a car.
I mean, so, I almost bought NAs a couple times, but there was always something else that I either owned already, like the MR2, which I preferred genuinely, or there was the E30 section of my life, so it wasn't good timing.
Yeah, it was bad. Well, I mean, you didn't miss anything.
No, and the Fiat is so good. So.
And like, don't get me wrong, the Miata, like, to all things considered, like in a bubble, a Miata is a good car.
Yeah. Oh yes.
But when you take the entire world into account, Miatas are no longer good cars. Because no Miata in the world should be worth more than $5,000 as soon as they're used.
An ND should be worth more than $5,000.
I guess because it hasn't fully depreciated, but every single one should depreciate below $5,000 and stay there forever.
Yeah, the what do you call it when it's depreciating? The floor, the plateau.
Yeah, the plateau.
The plateau should always be less than $5,000.
Yeah, no, they should plateau as cheap as possible. So, I think that a Miata should be worth no more money than a Mirage. Like that's because that's what it is. It's a Mirage for car people. Sure. A Mirage is the most basic form of transportation. Miata is the most basic form of fun car.
That would be a totally decent two-car garage for the average.
Actually, that'd be a really good car. I would actually enjoy owning that garage because I could get that entire garage in a good world that isn't wrong for like $6,000. Mm-hmm. The whole garage,
and also both good fuel economy.
Yeah, and
both pretty
I would
fun,
just enjoy myself.
Cheap to insure.
Yeah, they're just good cars. Like I would really love that. So.
I was going to Wisconsin for work, Madison.
Yeah.
Earlier last week, and I was using autopilot, but I had to lane change over because there was a Mirage merging out in the middle of Wisconsin.
Oh no!
Clearly stone cold, and the person was just going for it.
Yeah.
Move back over, and they finally get on the highway, and they immediately like boomerang into the left lane, and then come back into the right lane, and like I was cruise control at 85. I'm just like, I don't know how fast Mirages can go, but that one was booking.
I don't know how fast they can go, but it's pretty close. They can go about 100 maybe.
So that one was VMAXed. Secondary cruise control, I'm just like, it's good.
To be fair, I genuinely like cars where I can just have the cruise control be my shoe positioned underneath the brake pedal.
First gen 500 is perfect for that.
Like kind of rammed, so it's like lodged in between the brake pedal and the gas pedal, and then I'm just like not breaking the law. Like it's great. Like,
what's that? It's my old window washing pole. The head fell off of it. Why is it in your car still?
It's my cruise control. Look, just pin it. Just pin the throttle, and yeah, we're good. Let's keep it in fifth gear. And it's got so much overdrive, it will never blow up the engine. The engine is revving at 3,000 RPM. It doesn't have enough guts to get past that. And we're happy. It's physics. It's wonderful. We love physics here.
Simple science.
Really. Yeah, it's just science. Well, speaking of autopilot, for the 583 millionth, 157,000th, 297th time, autopilot doesn't stop you from being a bell end.
Correct.
This guy hit black ice in his Model 3.
Oh, wow.
And while he was on autopilot, and the car went bananas.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it destroyed.
So far left lane, all the way over to the right lane, hitting a Veracruz?
Yeah, Veracruz. Good on that Veracruz. That's held up really nicely for what happened to it. Like, if you actually look at that Veracruz.
Landed on its feet, too.
It landed on its feet, but, like,
wow, yeah,
more importantly,
perfect.
like, that's solid. Like, And so this
the Model 3 hit that abutment hard.
It's actually it was a Santa Cruz, not a Veracruz.
Oops.
Yeah, no, it really hit that embankment. But yeah, no, that's the Santa Cruz. Is
Winter
actually,
tires.
Yeah, exactly.
Winter tires.
Winter tires.
That's clearly a performance.
Yeah.
We got Pilot Sports on it, the idiot.
Yep. Well, it was a performance. Now it's a now it's gonna be
now
turned.
It's a parts car.
It's gonna be turned back into a washing machine. And that poor Santa Cruz. You know what?
That's a brand new vehicle.
That's actually really nice because that Santa Cruz is actually it did a really good job, like doing its thing and took care of the driver. And it's just, I would get a Santa Cruz. I actually really badly want a Santa Cruz.
Well, I mean, the Ridgeline isn't fun anymore, so now you just get a Santa Cruz.
It's a smaller Ridgeline. It's got 4-cylinder turbo in it. It's great. Like, I think, you know what? We never did the Modis. I'm going to give the Santa Cruz Carbitrage Car of the Year, I think. We should probably do a Modi award when Jan is, like, available again.
Probably should.
We'll do that next. Next time we record, we'll do our second episode, be the Modis, and it'll be quick.
I'll need to go watch some, like, video reviews on it to see if it's actually good.
It's automatic only, but it's a truck, so who cares? But
yeah, that can be your elect for the Modis. That's fine.
I think that's going to be my elect for the Modis. Because it's such a good truck.
I think I'll be the CT5B Blackwing for 2021. I like that car. I like that car.
No, I mean, I understand that you like it, but for me, it's such a wet fart of a car because it's a Cadillac.
The Modis,
I understand.
Just like, if I actually had to go put my own money down on a new car,
that's basically what the Modis are, yeah.
So that was like the Mark V, not available in a manual yet, even though it is now, kinda, and I still would have bought one.
There's a person that posted a Mark V, like in Chicago Car Spotting, which is like one of my favorite groups, because it's just people in Chicago pointing out cars in traffic. And people responding that are also from Chicago. So
also stuck in traffic.
Everybody is irate. Like everybody's an absolute
just
jackass.
Having a bad time.
Every single person in the whole group is a complete jackass, and they have no time for each other. But they're taking time out of their days to yell at each other. It's a really great group. Like,
so awesome.
This guy posts a picture. It's like usually it's people like posting like Aventadors that are street parked, like it's like in the snowbank.
Sure.
Like just like actually cool things to spot cars doing in winter. And this guy posts a picture of a Mark V Supra parked in a snowbank on the side of the road in like it wasn't in Chinatown. It was just north of Chinatown, on the west side, like Downers Grove or something. Not Downers Grove, closer. Anyway, so in like Lincoln Park or something,
okay.
like I at the edge of Chicago before it gets to the shitty suburbs, and it was just like in the snowbank, and the OP posted just a photo of the car and a sad face, and it said it's just a BMW 5 Series or it's a BMW Z4. It said no, it's just an automatic BMW in the snow. Who cares? And the guy's like, and everybody else is like, no, he's correct. This is an automatic BMW. Driven in the snow. This is a normal car. Mm-hmm. This is all this is. It's just a normal vehicle.
It's a commuter car.
It is a normal vehicle that's difficult to get things into the back of.
Probably all this. True. I haven't actually tried putting anything in the back of a A91.
I assume it's just can't be.
Brian May brought one to my house once, and I didn't bother to like even get in it.
I guess I've been in it. I mean, it feels nice. I mean, like also Z4 feels nice. I don't know, but like this is the thing is. 3 Series, because it's 4 doors, by default is going to be easier to get things into and out of.
Correct.
Like, I also say that the benefit... Also, it's only a 2-seater, so it doesn't even matter, because it's not even a real Supra, because Supras are 2+2s. That's my top... I'm just ending. I'm going to end the whole episode right there on that. Bye.